Hey, everybody. Well, two of us are back. Where's Daryl? I think he might be disappointed with the U.S. team. I'm not sure. But this time, Marcus is here to fill in the gaps about that game. I'm Bruce. Yeah, there's Marcus. Where in the world's Daryl? We'll find out later. But right now, let's talk about that U.S. game. You know, we were going to record yesterday before the game, but we thought, hey, let's wait till tomorrow, which is today, and talk about the great game that's going to happen. Boy, I tell you, I was disappointed. That
Yep.
poor goalie, he's going to have to live with that forever. I've already seen it a million times. I mean, what was he thinking? I
Yep.
know I don't know. Let me just let Marcus, what did you think? You watched it. What did you think happened?
Well, I mean, listen, the U.S. made progress. They won 3 games in a World Cup for the first time, but when they finally ran up into an elite European
A good
team,
team, yeah.
yeah, the gap in composure, defending all the punishment was their mistakes, and it was very obvious.
Very
They still
big.
hadn't reached a World Cup quarterfinal since I think 2002, and they've now lost 11 of their last 12 World Cup matches against a European team. But I mean, at the end of the day, they got their butts handed to them by Belgium, in Seattle. And I just thought that with the whole controversy, they were going to be able to take advantage of it with Balogun. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
did
it kind
too.
of, I think it kind of backfired on them because here's the way I think about it. And a lot of times, sports comes down to like psychology, right? If you're like Belgium, it's like okay, so the U.S. They're phoning in a friend. They're making the
Yeah.
games by their own rules. You know what, Belgium? I'm just thinking I'm the coach to the Belgium team. It's like, you know what? It's not just us against the U.S. It's us against the U.S. government. It's us against the world. It's
I
us
think you're
against
right.
FIFA. And I think that in itself uh, energized the Belgium team to just come out and be relentless. And again, the U.S. made so many mistakes on their own. But here's the flip side of that equation. And I've seen this happen in other sports, right? For a few days, they had been practicing with the notion that they weren't gonna have their star striker. And
True.
so when you have situations like that, Bruce, it usually becomes an opportunity for like somebody or several other people to step up. And because he played, those people probably didn't get the chance to step up, or they were probably just saying, well, we know who our go-to guy is, and we're just gonna like put our eggs in that one basket. And I know that's not how soccer works specifically. It's not a one-on-one game. Every play
Right.
is all based on teamwork and passing and so many pieces of it, right? And it's timing, all that
It's
good stuff.
opportunistic,
It's
isn't it?
opportunistic, exactly. But I would say that had he not been able to play, let's just say the phone call wasn't made, and we can talk about the whole phone call that
Yeah.
went into FIFA. But had he not been able to play, I think Belgium probably wouldn't have got that extra energy. And I think here's the thing. They would have been anticipating a game without him. And so it would have been unpredictable in terms of who could have potentially been that breakout player, right, for the United States. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it now. Like I said, man, Belgium exposed the U.S. Their defense. Obviously that goalkeeper made a major mistake.
That was
So I mean, like I said, it was a combination of they did it to themselves. But I think when you think about the psychology of what happened with the whole red card and that overturned decision, I think that also just kind of energized the Belgium team to just go in there and just like handle business.
I absolutely agree that's probably what happened. When it was overturned, I was like, this isn't politics. It was just like, stay out of it. That's
Yeah.
they can deal with it, and whatever they come up with. I was disappointed that he was not going to be able to play, but that's the game, right? That's the game, and so I wasn't too
Yeah.
worried about it. But I think you're absolutely right. I think that messed up their mind. I also wonder how much you mentioned pressure. How much everything they must have heard all the time is the questions from the press. You're going to set history here. This is going to be history. You might be the best team ever. Then it starts
Yeah.
playing with your mind.
Yeah.
Even when you tell yourself, don't think about it, well, just saying that makes you think about it. So
Oh yeah.
But I just wish when it was 1-2, I thought, okay, even if Belgium's better, you still can sneak one in there,
Yeah,
like we just mentioned.
yeah, because
Opportunistic
yeah,
slips in there.
they tied it up 1-1 pretty
Yeah,
quickly, and then it's like the next play they go up 2-1, and
that
that was
quick,
pretty much
that
like it
quick.
was
But they
literally
held
like
their own. I
yeah,
think when that ball went, when the goalie misplayed that ball and it went in, I think that just took the wind out of their sails. Like
yeah. I
we
think
might
it
could
just
slip
went to
another
the
one by, but two more this late, and then
yeah, no,
and
no, no,
you've
no
been
doubt.
this here too, I'm sure. When your brain, you use your brain to think about it when you're in practice. But when you're playing the
Right.
game, it's all just responding. And I think all of a sudden, when you try to do more than you usually do, or you try to make up for something, you're out of your rhythm, and it just don't play the same, And I think that might have been too. Their brains got into it. We got to score now, and it just didn't work. Whatever the reason, it just
Yeah.
didn't work.
Yeah, well, and again, listen, I have colleagues and friends who, they're like avid soccer fans, and some of them who supported the U.S. were not necessarily supportive of, what had happened, the overturned decision. It just like,
Yeah,
sets a bad precedence for, our president to call, the FIFA president to have him review it. Now, granted, he didn't say, oh, the call itself is what made it overturned. But at the end of the day, let's just call it what it is. We know that when the president of the United States make a phone call, that's going to carry a lot of weight, regardless of what.
it's bad optics. Even
But
if it had nothing to do with bad optics.
here's the flip side of it, right? What if they had won? What if they had gone on and won? Now you have that asterisk, or you
You do.
have the people out there saying, well, the only reason they won is because y'all cheated,
Yeah,
right? So then you have to deal with that flip side. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation uh, for Balogun to be able to play no matter how it turned out. Me personally, I just wish he could have, hey man, you committed the crime, you got to do the time.
I think
And I know
so.
there was people that said, oh, there really shouldn't have been a red card. He shouldn't have got one for that infraction. But at the end of the day, the call was made, and
That's
so
sports. You got to live with it.
yeah, you got to live with it, right? And again, I still think that had that decision not happened, because you got to figure there was also some guilt factor on the U.S. team, like they felt a little guilty, like, oh well, we got our player back, let's go out
Yeah,
there and do it. So it's kind of that, and I don't know. I just think the psychology of just having that decision overturned, it energized Belgium, and it put a lot of doubt, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, what I like to call FUD, in the hearts and minds of the U.S. team.
yeah, you're right. I don't disagree with it at all. I just wish. I think the biggest disappointment was how flat they were. If they'd come out there and still lost, and like say
Yep.
the very last kick, I'm going into the movie making thing. All of a sudden he makes that
Yep.
kick, the American does, and it goes into slow motion. You see the face of the goalie, you see the ball, you see the goalie, you see the fans, and it
Yeah.
gets blocked. Okay, you can live with a close game, and you played your best. All right, hats off to you. But they just
Yeah.
played flat. And then I think that the move the goalie made, that's just the, what do you call it? That's the picture what's going to hang on everyone's mind for a long time. The hard
Oh
part about this is
yeah.
just like the Olympics. You don't get another shot for 4 years.
For 4 years, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you don't.
man. It's tough, man. I mean, like even when you watch like our normal American sports, you gotta wait a year
Yeah,
for another chance. It's like that you gotta wait 4 years. You know how much
I
happens
know
in
it.
4 years, right? We'll have a
And some
new
of those
pres-
guys, this is your only chance. You hear this
Yeah.
Rolando
Oh
and Messi.
yeah.
Oh yeah, this is their sixth or seventh one. But like most people don't. This is it.
Yeah.
They get one
Yeah, that's
shot at
it.
it.
You get one shot at it, maybe two if if you're, that talented, that young, you might get two. And that's an 8-year period. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. Obviously, just kind of thinking here in North America, Mexico lost the day before, and there were a lot of
In Mexico, that's
yeah,
disappointing for them.
yeah, they were real sad about that one, man. I'm just like, it was a lot of people I've seen,
But
or
they
just
played
places I
well. It was
know.
a good
They played
game.
well. That was a much better match, right?
Yeah.
It came down to the final, few moments or whatever, and Mexico had a chance and just couldn't find a way to tie that thing up. So, hey, man, listen, that's the World Cup, and hopefully the U.S. will be in a better position next year. I'm not next year, in 4 years' time, and we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Well, I'm thinking too, watching, on the sideline, they've got all those boards up there so you can do advertising nonstop. I'm
yeah.
wondering, will the NFL, now you got all those boards to put around the stadiums, how long will it be before the NFL starts popping up these boards so they have another revenue stream, right? We got another revenue stream coming. Put those advertisements up there.
They gonna keep coming up with new and new revenue
Yeah.
streams.
Anyway, let me change the subject. LeBron. It's just
LeBron
amazing.
James.
41 years old, and people are still courting him. He's like you said earlier. He's not the LeBron of old, but he's still better than a whole lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And all. There's people like Golden State, Cleveland, Miami. Who else might get a shot? I saw rumors Dallas could have a shot. But I mean, who do you think? I'm going to go. I think he's going to go to Cleveland. This is going to be his farewell year. He's going to go to Cleveland. He's going to go to all the stadiums. They're going to give him, like with Kobe, they're going to shower him with gifts and adorations, and I think he'll do it with Cleveland. But I have no basis in other. That's my guess.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I personally would like it to be Cleveland if he's going to go anywhere, because I think it's a great go home one last time, story. You finish where it all started and join a team that actually can somewhat contend, right? So that'd be the kind of the cool. He's not just going to a place to retire. That Cleveland actually has an opportunity, right? We saw, how far they were able to make it into
true.
The conference finals this past season. So that could be a good opportunity. I would much rather see him go there than the opposite or the other direction, which is heading to the other coast or staying on the same coast and going to the Golden State Warriors. Like, I think it'd be fascinating to see LeBron and Steph Curry. They kind of do their last hoorah. This most likely will be the last year for both of them. But it's just something about that it feels, I don't know. It just doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel right. Like, I don't know. I just don't. Me seeing LeBron in a Golden State jersey, I don't know. And although he's been to multiple teams, I feel like Cleveland is the way to go.
That's his team.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with you. Golden State's not his team. Golden State is Curry's team,
Yeah.
Cleveland's still his team. So he happened to go in there and they happen to slip another championship. Yeah. I think that's a legitimate ring for him.
Yeah. And like I said, they took New York to that was a 7-game series, right?
Yeah. They were really close. They were looking really good. They had the second best record in the league. I mean, they were. So they're a very good team, and they may start them, but use them like a sixth man too.
Yeah, I think that's, and hopefully, although I know, he's a marquee player, although he's not at the peak of his game, and I would probably say he's probably 2 clicks down at this point right now. But LeBron can still sell some tickets, and I just think the emotional connection of just not only going back to your original team and a team that you won a championship for. But you're going back home.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
that's where I think he's doing.
Yeah, I hope that's where he ends up. I think it'll be the best storybook ending for an incredible career. But who knows, man? It could end up being Miami Heat. It could be the Denver Nuggets.
Miami kind of makes sense too, because he won a couple of championships there.
He won a couple of championships there, but the one in Cleveland mattered. That's the one that was the most. I'm certain.
Like you say, that's his home. That's where he belongs. That's his team.
Bring it all back home, man.
That's what I think.
If you would get any kind of reprieve in terms of jumping ship and changing teams as many times as he has, especially when you start bringing up that whole greatest of all time GOAT conversation, I think him going back to Cleveland would be the best. Optically, it would be the best scenario versus the other ones. Because at the other point, it's just like you're just trying to find a way to get you one more ring because you just want to feel like you outdid, Kobe, or you got one less than Jordan, or I don't know.
You're right.
So we'll see. I don't know, because even his one ring in LA, I'm gonna you know me, I'm all about asterisks occasionally, and I think that ring in the bubble and Disney World, I think that was an asterisk of a
I think so too. That was a weird year.
That was weird. Yeah.
I don't even want to think about those years anymore. Wasn't that funny? Up in the stands, they had TV projectors of people.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, right?
That
And
is
just to think
crazy.
about it, in a few more months, the first breakout of that COVID is 7 years ago. That's how fast time flies
Wow,
by.
time goes fly. Wow, wow,
Yeah,
it
five
flies.
five months from now, we're talking about the first mention of COVID being 7 years ago. So it's crazy how time flies.
Well,
So
I've got another topic. I just read something, but is this trivia question I have? You ready for a trivia question?
let's wrap it up
You
with
heard of
trivia.
Bob
What you got?
Costa, right?
Yeah.
Well, the story I'm going to tell you relates to it, but what team was Bob Costa play-by-play announcer first when he first started out? At 22 years old, he was play-by-play announcer for a team.
A
Okay,
professional team, a professional.
professional team. Okay, so just think about it for a minute. Let me tell you this story. I just learned this story.
Oh,
I've got to tell you this story because I think it's maybe the greatest deal ever in the history of basketball and maybe all sports. Better than Babe Ruth's trade, better than Lucas' trade. Okay, there was a team, the Spirit of St. Louis. You ever heard of them? They were
mm-hmm.
in the ABA. So the ABA was a startup team that was trying to compete with the NBA. This was in
Right.
the early 70s. They had that red, white, and blue ball. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah,
or
I
not.
remember.
It's really
Yep.
cool. They had, they had a little more speed. They had a little showmanship. But anyway, they merged with the NBA. 4 teams went to the NBA, but one team, a few teams didn't, and they kind of bought them out. But the Spirit of St. Louis had brothers who owned the team, 2 brothers, and they owned the team.
Oh, okay.
And they had, on that team was Moses Malone. So they wanted that talent, of course,
Ah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, they wouldn't go without a fight. So what they did, I'm going to read these numbers to you. They got, this is back in the early 70s, so this is worth more than it sounds like today. $2.2 million to just go away. Plus, they got 1/7 of the TV revenue of the 4 teams that went to the NBA. Back then, TV wasn't a big deal. So they thought, okay, we'll give it to them, thinking it was nothing. Well, TV became humongous, and this was the best deal. So they got, by 2008, they had made $186 million by that little deal.
Wow.
By
Wow.
2012, that deal had made those twins, or those brothers, $215 million it made them
Wow.
from the TV revenue. So they didn't have to do anything. They're just back drinking mimosas by their swimming pool, and they get another check from the NBA TV revenue. So in
Wow.
2014, they said, we just can't do this anymore. They went to the brothers, and they made them a deal. They paid them $500 million to forget it. Plus, they still get $14.57 million a year.
Wow.
Isn't that just...
That's
I just
crazy.
couldn't believe when I was reading this. So I looked it up to make sure it wasn't just some stupid thing that people pop up. And it's true. I think that's got to be the best deal in the history.
Wow.
Maybe,
Yeah.
other than maybe Bill Gates making that deal with IBM to keep the operating system rights for themselves. That was a
Yeah.
steal.
Right.
But for sports, it's incredible.
As a sports, that's incredible.
I can't believe they pulled that
What's
off.
real incredible, Bruce, is that we made it all the way through this recording, and you haven't given our viewers perspective on the fact that you have a beach in the background there.
Oh yeah,
Like,
look at the beach in the background. Isn't that great?
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's in honor of I'm going to be going on vacation soon, and we're going to be
yeah.
seeing.
Well deserved, sir.
Yeah,
Well
well, I mean,
deserved.
you cannot imagine the stress it takes managing this podcast.
Yes, I can only
So I need a
imagine.
well-deserved rest.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Anyway,
sir.
let me give you the answer to the trivia question.
What you got?
Bob Costa, 22 years old. Where did he start? He started with the Spirit of St. Louis, that ABA team.
Oh,
That's where he got his start. So look what happened out of this whole merger. Bob Costa becomes who he is now. Moses Malone, he'd been great anyway, but he gets to be a star in the NBA. And the brothers that own the Spirit of St. Louis made a ton of money.
yes. Yeah, I can only imagine. Wow, that's actually an incredible story. I did not know that about Bob Costas. I mean, obviously, I've followed his career, and obviously one of
Oh
the
yeah, he's good.
premier, top analysts that's ever done it. So, yeah,
Oh, he's good. Yeah, when he
yeah,
speaks,
yeah,
you listen, don't you? I mean,
yeah.
he seems like he was on some game show where you get to vote to kick somebody off, They voted him off right away because he's so smart. They didn't want him up there anymore.
Oh, it's like the weakest link or something.
Oh, that's what it was. The weakest link. You're right. He was the
Yeah,
strongest link.
that's what I'm
Get
about
him
to
out of
say.
here.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
win if they leave him
Yeah,
on.
I've seen that strategy play out before where they try to get rid of like once they get down to like the last 2 or 3 people, then they'll vote off the person that's the strongest lead.
The strongest, yeah.
Because
He
one
was the
person feels
strongest.
like I can take this person out. So yeah,
Some people act smart, and you're like, oh, but when he speaks, I don't know if it's like it for you or not, but when he speaks, I listen. I'm like, this guy, I think he really knows what he's talking about.
yeah, absolutely.
I guess he has to. Being that short, he couldn't have really played.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
All right. Well, anything else you can think of for now?
No, that's about it, my friend. You
All right.
enjoy
I
your
think
vacation.
I'm gonna have to double look at this here. Ever covering the World Cup soccer again? Because one time we spoke about it and you didn't show up. This time Daryl's not showing up. Hope he's okay. I'm sure he is.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's probably listening and laughing at us.
Yeah.
Bruce is on the beach.
This is on the beach.
All right. Well, we'll see you all later. You guys comment. What did you think of the Spirit of St. Louis? What did you think of the World Cup in USA? You still going to watch? They kind of soured it a little bit, didn't it? Yeah. And also LeBron. Where will LeBron land? Give us some comments.
Cleveland.
Share this so we can hear other comments. I'd like to see what you think. Anyway, see y'all next time.